Hi everyone, hello. How are you doing? I hope everyone is doing good. So welcome to last video of plant, water and relation. In this video, we will be talking about stomatal transpiration, a detailed structure of stomata and how the stomata opens and closes and causes transpiration to happen, and the importance of transpiration with respect to certain advantages and certain disadvantages. Okay, in the previous videos, we have covered the other two types of transpiration, that is lenticular transpiration and cuticular transpiration. Okay, so if you have still not checked out the video, please check out the video, and we move to the third type of stomatal transpiration. So this is how a stoma, or stomata or stoma looks like. Basically, stoma or stomata is nothing but it's just the opening. Okay, if you ask me what is the meaning of stomata or stoma, it is just the minute aperture, small opening. Okay, small opening which is formed because of the two guard cells that surround them and accessory cells. Okay, so these are the accessory cells, and this is the guard cell. So when it thickens, when the guard cell thickens, automatically it attains a shape of kidney beans like this. Okay, and there is a minute opening in the middle, and when they become flaccid, when they become flat, then they close, they come together, and then the opening is closed. Okay, stomata will be found on the leaves, mostly on the lower surface of the leaf. Okay, that is the back side of the leaf, you can imagine. Yeah, so depending upon where the stomata is, you have three terms that you can keep it in mind, where the distribution of the stomata of the on the leaves are. So if they are on the upper epidermis, we will call it as epistomatic leaf. If it is on the lower epidermis, we will say hypostomatic. If it is on both the sides, then both the surfaces, we will say amphistomatic. Okay, so most of the transpiration in a plant that takes place is because of stomata. So you have lenticular and cuticular transpiration. Lenticles account for only 0.1 to 1%, cuticular approximately 5 to 10%. So 90 to 93% of the transpiration that takes place is because of the stomatal transpiration, and this happens only during the daytime. Okay, so this will happen only during the daytime, except the desert plants. Fine. Desert plants will show less transpiration because they are there in the desert for conservation. They will try to conserve more and more water surface. Okay, so so let's see the structure of the stomata in detail. So here, just have a look at the different parts of the stomata, how it looks like when it is open and how it looks like when it is closed. So when it is open, you can see this. Basically, more or less all the components of any plant cell is there. Like they have the cell wall, they have chloroplast, nucleus is there, vacuole is there, cytoplasm is there. This cell is specialized cell, guard cells. Okay, so when they swell, when they become thick, okay, there is this opening called as stomata. When they are flaccid, then they lose this thickness, they become flaccid, and then the opening is closed. So this is how the stomata, stomata looks like when it is closed, and this is how it looks like when it is open. Now this opening and closing is caused by uh, certain activities that takes place in the leaf. Now it has been explained with help in your textbook. You have two theories, or two explanation that gives you understanding of the opening and closing of stomata. So according to the first theory, you can say, or the first explanation, which is also known as starch sugar synthesis, starch sugar hypothesis. Starch getting converted to sugar, starch sugar hypothesis, to a reversible reaction. It is also known as Stewart scheme. So during the daytime, the enzyme phosphorylase converts starch directly convert starch into these forms of glucose. Finally, glucose is formed. Okay, so because of this conversion, there is osmosis taking place. Osmotic potential is developed, okay, because of the solute ions that are made. So this causes the osmosis causes these guard cells. In these guard cells, the starch are converted into sugar. It causes these guard cells to swell up, and the swelling up causes the stomata to open. During night, it is the opposite. Sugar getting converted to starch. Okay, we know that starch is the storage polysaccharide in the plants. So they are interconvertible. Okay, when there is need of sugar, starch is converted to sugar. When excess sugar is there, sugar is converted into starch and stored in the plants. So this sugar getting converted to starch, it causes the flattening of the cell, flaccidness of the cell. Okay, this causes the guard cells to become flattened and the opening automatically closes. This is during the night. So this is one explanation that, okay, it opens during the day because of this reaction and it closes during the night because of this reaction. There is another theory, or another explanation which explains the thickening of the guard cells and eventually opening of the stomata because of the proton transport, potassium transport. Okay, so because of this potassium ion transport. So according to this explanation, when potassium enters the vacuole, you can see these pink molecules. When the potassium from the vicinity, from the surrounding, enters the guard cell, okay, which eventually leads to osmosis. Water also moves, follows by the osmosis. So potassium ions move inside the guard cell, water also move inside the guard cell, okay, through osmosis. This causes what? Turgidity. Okay, turgidity of the guard cell is brought about, and this causes a separation of the cell and the stoma is open. There is a opening in between these cells. Opposite of that, when potassium leaves, you see these pink molecules all leaving the guard cell, and eventually water also follows it because of osmosis. So what happens? You can see the closing of the stomata because now the guard cell becomes flattened, loses its turgidity. So this is another theory which explains the opening and closing of stomata based on the influx and efflux of potassium ions followed by osmosis. A little detail to this you need to know. Sorry. Yeah. A little bit of detail to this mechanism is uh, when you when we talk about opening, okay, so during daytime, what happens, how this potassium ion is taken in? So we begin with the carbon dioxide concentration decrease. Okay, sorry, this is during, yeah, during day when there is light, when the uh, plant is carrying out photosynthesis. So if there is carbon dioxide concentration decrease, what happens? Malic acid are formed in the guard cell. Okay, this malic acid gets converted into malate ions and protons. Okay, carbon dioxide concentration during the day decreases near the stomata. This results in formation of malic acid in the guard cell. This malic acid is then converted into malate ions and protons, split it up into malate ions and protons. This results in potassium ion to be taken up into the guard cells along with the water that is followed by the osmosis. So potassium ions are taken into guard cells and protons are thrown out of the guard cells, ion exchange. Okay. And because of this osmotic pressure which is developed due to the entry of the potassium ions and the malate ions, endoosmosis takes place. So solute, ions are more inside the guard cells, so automatically water will flow from osmosis is from lower concentration to higher concentration, opposite of diffusion, remember? So endoosmosis will take place and guard cells will become turgid, and this will cause stomata to open. Okay. Opposite, during the night time, opposite mechanism will happen. Carbon dioxide concentration will increases during night time, during the dark phase of the night. This results in a decrease in pH of the guard cells. Basically, abscisic acid is released to stop the exchange of the potassium ions. Okay, now opposite will happen. Malate ions which were there in the guard cell cytoplasm, they will combine with the H plus earlier, which they got splitted up and entered into the malate ions, and the potassium got entered into the guard cell, causing endoosmosis and finally causing turgidity and stomatal opening. Now opposite will happen. Malate and proton will come together, malic acid will be formed, and potassium ions which were there in the guard cell, they will transport back. Okay, they will come out from the guard cell. In simple terms, you can imagine like that, and go into the surrounding cells, subsidiary cells, resulting in decreased osmotic concentration. So what will happen? Water will also move out. Okay, exoosmosis will take place. Like the examples that we discussed, when you put raisins, when you put shrinked raisins in a solution, endoosmosis takes place in a pure water. When you take fresh grapes, okay, in a hypertonic solution, exoosmosis occurs. Water moves out of the cell. So exoosmosis from guard cells takes place. Water moves out, guard cells become flaccid, and stomata closes. Okay, so this is the detailed mechanism of how the opening and closing of stomata takes place during day and night, based on which theory? The potassium proton theory. Okay, so two explanations, Stewart scheme and the potassium proton theory. Okay, so you have to know, understand, and learn both theories to support your concept of stomatal opening and closing. And finally, now the last topic we will discuss about in this slide, the importance of transpiration. So having finished all the three types of transpiration, what is the importance of transpiration? So if we look at the advantages, it removes excess water from the plants. Okay, though water is required, is an essential raw material for the plant for growth and development, but sometimes if excess water is there, it can be removed just by loss of water from these structures. So this can be one of the advantage. Helps in passive absorption of water. Remember when we were talking about transpiration and the transpiration pool that is created from the leaves to the, then it signals to the petiole, then the stem, then the root. So it helps in passive absorption of water and minerals from the soil. Okay, it helps in creation of the ascent of sap. So this is also one of the importance or advantages to the plant. That is, the plant does not have to invest more energy and do active absorption through osmosis. Okay. So as stomata are open, gaseous exchange is required for photosynthesis, and respiration is facilitated. Yes. So this is one of the important advantages, that opening of the stomata is very important because it allows entry of carbon dioxide also, which is required for photosynthesis. Okay. So making of food and all that stuff is facilitated. And it maintains the osmotic pressure, maintains the turgidity of the cells. Okay. Also, in when there is high intensity of sunlight, okay, when it's a hot dry day, so transpiration helps in reducing the temperature of the leaves. Okay, and it has a cooling effect on the leaves. So somewhat it helps in bringing down the temperature of the leaf by loss of water in the form of water vapor. So this is also one of the advantages. But few disadvantages, like if a plant does excessive transpiration, abundant amount of water is lost from the stomata, then it might lead to water deficiency in the plant or the tree, and this might result into wilting of the plant, injury to the plant, damage beyond recovery, like that. The plant might die due to excessive water loss. Okay, so it might also lead to death of the plant. So this is one of the major disadvantage of transpiration. Okay, so that's all for this video. Uh, Keep revising. If you have any doubt, you can make a note of it, and you can always ask me. So till uh, take care. See you. Thank you. Bye bye.